Lindell TV is pleased to present the Sentinel Report with your host, Alex Newman. Alex has written for a wide array of publications in the United States and abroad. He currently serves as a contributor to Epoch Times and foreign correspondent and senior editor for the New American magazine. Alex is the author of several books and has been a guest on countless radio and television programs and is a much sought-after conference speaker. Alex is best known for his reporting and research that has exposed the dangers and agenda of globalism. As the father of 5 children, Alex is working to defend faith, family, and freedoms from the hostile philosophies and ideas that are contrary to the Bible and the United States Constitution. And now, here is your host, Alex Newman.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Sentinel Report. I am your host, Alex Newman. Obviously, I'm not in my usual studio. I'm up in the Seattle area. I've got a couple of events. Actually, if you want to come to them, we'd love to have you if you're within driving distance. The first one is going to be, I believe, tonight in Tacoma. I'll see if I can find the address and stuff during the break. And then we've got one tomorrow in Puyallup, I think it's called, here in the Seattle area. So if you can make it out, we'd love to see you. We are supposed to have 2 very special guests for you. Right now, we're struggling to get our one of them on. He's sitting in jail as one of the January 6th protesters. So we will see if we can get him on for you. If we do, we'll go straight to him. We're having some technical difficulties connecting. We've also got an extraordinary guest coming up. She's become a friend of mine. And I believe she is one of the top researchers exposing the CIA and some of the just absolutely horrifying agendas that the establishment is pursuing. But first, a look at the word. This comes out of Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 and 16. It says, "Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time, because the days are evil." And looks like we have our guest calling in on the phone here. So let's see if we can get him while we're at it. Incarcerated individual. Florida. So we'll see if we can get him on.
It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept this free call, press 1. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hey,
Hey, Al, this is Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy. Sorry we couldn't connect via Skype. Give me. We've got you on. We're doing live
That
TV.
number's not.
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm sorry.
We're on live TV right now. And Reagan, can you guys pick him up okay from the microphone? Are you guys hearing him well? Okay. Perfect. Good. Well, Jeremy, hang on just 1 second and we'll bring you right on. I want to introduce you. And also, folks, before we get to our first guest, Jeremy, again, one of the January 6th prisoners, I do want to remind you to get prepared, right? Everybody's talking about October 4th. What's going to happen October 4th? I don't suspect anything significant, or I wouldn't have left my family on the other side of the country to come do a speaking tour. But things are getting weird real fast. You know it. I know it. We've got political crisis, economic crisis, all kinds of crises coming at us like a freight train. And if you're not ready, you may find yourself in some pretty tough times. So get over to preparewithsentinel.com. That's preparewithsentinel.com. For those of you listening on podcast or radio, that's prepare, Prepare, with WITH Sentinel, SENTINEL.com. And what you'll find there is some incredible deals, folks. The biggest savings they ever offer, 25% off a 3-month emergency food kit. It's only available if you go to preparewithsentinel.com. That's preparewithsentinel.com. Again, that's the biggest discount they offer, folks. It's not going to get better than this. If you've got 3 members in your household, you need to have at least 3 of these. Me personally, for my family, we do significantly more than that. But at a bare minimum, you need to be prepared to last a few months without assistance in the event of an emergency. And folks, with the way things are going, I can almost guarantee you will not regret it. All right, let's get to our first guest. And again, that's preparewithsentinel.com, folks. Our first guest is Jeremy Brown. He is a 20-year U.S. Army Special Forces Master Sergeant. He served our nation honorably. He's been a Ranger. He's been a Green Beret. He's been a firefighter, a citizen, a business owner, a coach, a U.S. congressional candidate. And now he describes himself, and others have described him, as a prisoner of war. So he is now being persecuted by the regime for his role in what happened at the Stop the Steal rally in Washington, D.C. And he is calling in to the program. He's with us live. We are doing live TV now if you're watching us live, to give us the latest updates on what is going on. Jeremy, welcome to the program. Thank you. Before you give us updates, how are you doing? How's everything behind bars?
Well, everything is going as well as can be expected, but thank you for having me on the show today.
It's a pleasure and an honor to have you, Jeremy. So what are the updates? What do the American people need to know about what's happening with your case and the other J6ers?
Well, as far as what's happening in my case right now, we're currently working on finalizing our appeals brief. That brief should be submitted here within the next week or so. Once I review it, my appeals attorney is very confident on the grounds that we have, which are going to be strong Fourth Amendment grounds, strong anti-Patriot Act grounds, as well as strong Second Amendment grounds. So we probably will get a resolution to that appeal sometime in April or May. But as far as the grander big picture, as far as the January 6th conspiracy is going, I think there's a lot of really positive things that are happening. I know that Stephen Baker just released yesterday that they have a years-long investigation that is revealing just flat-out perjury committed on behalf of the establishment and the powers that be. Having officers of the court, law enforcement officers that are just flat out perjuring themselves. There's also been revelations about the documents that have been used against Enrico Tarrio were actually originated from those associated with the FBI. So there's a lot of good information that is being revealed and a lot of good things that are, leading in the right direction, and that direction is the revelation that the federal government was behind the setup of January 6th, which is what I've been screaming all along.
Yep, and of course you're not the only one. It looks more and more clear now from the testimony we have, even from the guy who went on Tucker Carlson's show, the head of the Capitol Police was saying they don't even know how many federal agents. It's just unbelievable. In the last couple of minutes we have left, Jeremy, what do you think happened? And what can the American people, the viewers, the listeners of this show do for the J6ers and for their country, in your opinion?
I mean, what I think happened was look, when a enemy gains control, they exercise that control first by taking out the threats. And so as we saw through the Russia soft coup of the federal government through the constant manufacturing of false crises in order to basically destroy the Trump administration. The election of 2020 was the culmination of that. And then, of course, once they wanted to demonstrate that they now had the power. And so the events of January 6th were meant, many would refer to as a false flag operation, but in unconventional warfare terms, these would be what are known as provocateur operations, where they basically staged an event in order to demonize their political enemies, and then you'd be able to charge them all with felonies and lock them away in prison. And that's exactly what has happened. And that's what all the evidence indicates. And that's exactly why you see the massive cover-up and the restricting of information from the American people under the guise of highly sensitive evidence or classified this or classified that. I mean, what you have is a military operation that was conducted by federal law enforcement, federal agencies, and the intelligence community, and it's being covered up because the minute that you see the actual video of January 6th, it blows their entire narrative out of the water, and that's exactly what has happened in Stephen Baker's investigation, where they've literally seen the video of these officers, and they are nowhere near where they said they were, and this is all evidence of the cover-up.
Yep, and it's a massive cover-up, and we know there were feds crawling all over the place. JeremyBrownDefense.com, folks. Jeremy Brown Defense. Jeremy, we got to let you go, but final thoughts. What can and should the American people be doing right now regarding January 6th?
Well, I mean, look, like you said at the very, very beginning, one, they need to be prepared because we are living in very tumultuous times. But they need to ensure that they're getting their information and then cross cross-checking that information against the reality that they're seeing with their own eyes. And only until the American people wake up to what is going on can they appropriately take the actions necessary to prevent this attack against America. And that's exactly what it is, because they do not want American sovereignty. They want us all to be part of this one world conglomerate where the leaders are selected, not elected. And we have to inform ourselves and then take the appropriate actions where we see fit.
Amen. Jeremy Brown, thank you so much for joining us. JeremyBrownDefense.com. Thank you, sir. We'll get you back on again very soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. God bless you, sir. All righty, folks. That was Jeremy Brown. You can check out his website, JeremyBrownDefense.com. Big news, obviously, with what's going on in Congress. We all saw that Kevin McCarthy has now been removed as Speaker for the first time ever. Kevin McCarthy, the same guy that was just caught at the Bohemian Grove group of weirdos out in Northern California. They do weird rituals and things. And in case you didn't see it, I want to show you just a little quick clip from Representative Matt Gaetz, who helped lead the charge yesterday. Check this out.
The yeas are 216. The nays are 210. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
All righty, folks. Historic news, obviously. Only 8 Republicans actually voted against McCarthy. Representative Matt Gaetz, Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina, Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona, Matt Rosendale of Montana, Eli Crane of Arizona, Ken Buck of Colorado, Tim Burkett of Tennessee, and Bob Good of Virginia. And, folks, I know the Fox News crowd and the Newt Gingriches and the Mark Levins are whiny and mad about these guys. But you know what? We were betrayed time after time by Kevin McCarthy, and I respect some of the people who have urged Congress to keep McCarthy. Thomas Massey is a good American, but frankly, I think we need to do something different. Now, Donald Trump has actually confirmed from the courthouse in New York that he has been asked about becoming the House Speaker, and he also says he is interested in doing it. Here's what he said. He said, all I can say is we'll do whatever's best for the country and for the Republican Party. Check this out.
A lot of people have been calling me about Speaker. All I can say is we'll do whatever's best for the country and for the Republican Party. Would you take the job? People. Would you take what I say? We have some great people. Would you take the job? A lot of people have asked me about it. I'm focused. We're leading. I don't know you. I'm sure you don't read too much in the papers. But we're leading by like 50 points for president. My focus is totally on that. If I can help them during the process, I would do it. But we have some great people in the Republican Party that could do.
Yeah, fascinating times, folks. We definitely live in interesting times, no question about it. I want to show you that clip of Newt Gingrich, the neocon, talking about the 8 who voted against McCarthy. Check this out.
96% of the Republicans voted for McCarthy. 4% voted against him. From my position as a longtime Republican activist, they're traitors. All 8 of them should, in fact, be primaried. They should all be driven out of public life. What they did was to go to the other team to cause total chaos. We ought to be focusing on Biden. We ought to be focusing on the economy. We ought to be focusing on the border. Instead, you're going to get a week or 10 days of the media focusing on Republican disarray. It's an astonishingly destructive behavior by a handful.
Yeah, cry me a river, Newt Gingrich. You know what's actual chaos? As Matt Gaetz said, $33 trillion in debt put on the backs of our children and our grandchildren. That's chaos. You know what's chaos? Betraying the American people over and over again. You know what's chaos? Is Republican leaders like McCarthy and McConnell doing everything they can to give Joe Biden all the money he needs to continue terrorizing Americans, to continue weaponizing federal law enforcement and intelligence agencies against our people, to continue persecuting January 6th protesters, to continue destroying our military, to continue destroying our economy, to continue building up the UN. That's what's chaos, not removing the Speaker of the House who was facilitating all of that. Here's a little clip of Matt Gaetz. This is what I was going to show you before, talking about what is going on. Check it out.
And when it comes to how those raise money, I take no lecture on asking patriotic Americans to weigh in and contribute to this fight from those who would grovel and bend knee for the lobbyists and special interests who own our leadership, who have, oh, boo all you want, who have hollowed out this town and have borrowed against the future of our future generations. I'll be happy to fund my political operation through the work of hardworking Americans, $10 and $20 and $30 at a time, and you all keep showing up at the lobbyist fundraisers and see how that goes for you. I reserve.
Yeah, he was responding to the accusation by a fellow Republican that he was fundraising off of this. And yeah, fundraising off the grassroots. Meanwhile, Republican leadership is bending over, asking Pfizer and the military-industrial complex and big banks for money. Stay with us. We're going to be right back with Kristen Williamson, a great American, breaking down in I think the most incredible fashion I've ever seen what's going on with our lawless so-called intelligence community. We'll be right back.
You're watching Lindell TV.
Here's a nutritional hack anyone can master. Replace a meal a day with our Kingdom Fuel.
Or if you're a monster in the gym, add a shake to your daily meal plan.
Our unique meal shakes are balanced, low glycemic, rich in fiber, 20 grams of clean protein, essential vitamins and minerals, healthy fat, and organic fruits and vegetables.
Kingdom Fuel is vegan with a complete amino acid profile.
Bottom line, it's a simple start to a transformed life.
No gimmicks, just results.
Start today.
Here's the news, Dad.
Is it, son? Is it?
What about this one, Dad?
Nope. It's hard to tell what's real and what's fake these days. There's just too much baloney out there. At the New American, they cut through the baloney and give me the truth.
Visit thenewamerican.com today. Use the promo code Newman to get $10 off the price of a print subscription.
Most churches are silent about today's intense culture wars, leaving Christians alone and ill-equipped to stand in the battleground of ideas raging against us. That's why GTI Ministries has created a special bundle of new teaching tools to keep your family, friends, and church from being taken captive by a world at war with our God. We have reformatted our popular You Are What You Think textbook series to synchronize with our Thinking Like a Christian video series, enabling anyone to easily lead others through this life-changing curriculum. Our special bundle also includes new instructor guides for assisting the leader moment by moment, and which also contain discussion questions with answer keys. Go to gtimin.com and click the green banner at the top to receive your special bundle containing all these resources for only $119 for the DVD format or $99 for the streamed or thumb drive style. Take a stand for family and faith. Go to gtimin.com and click the green banner at the top. You'll be blessed.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The MyPillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, MyPillow 2.0. When I invented MyPillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. MyPillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature-regulating thread. MyPillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of MyPillow.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a MyPillow or not, you need to get the brand new MyPillow 2.0. Call or go to MyPillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
Visit MyPillow.com.
Welcome back to the Sentinel Report. Alex Newman here, your host. Folks, do check out MyPillow.com. Go to MyPillow.com. Use that promo code Newman. We've got Christmas and Thanksgiving coming up. Amazing sales. I'm talking like 50% off a lot of stuff if you use that promo code Newman. And that helps keep us on the air, folks. It's really important. I mean, why shop at these big box companies that hate your guts, that want to destroy your family, that want to market tuck-friendly bathing suits to your sons? When you can shop at MyPillow, get better products at better prices, and you can support your favorite show, the Sentinel Report. Should be a no-brainer. Our next guest is an incredible lady. Her name is Kristen Williamson, and I've been working with her for a few years. She just knows so much that we're not even going to be able to scratch the surface of the tip of the iceberg. because there's so much she knows. But I wanted to just introduce her to you guys, and we will be hopefully having her back on regularly to break down what's going on with the intelligence community. And folks, prepare to be blown away. Kristen, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us. Now, you know a lot. You've been handing your research off to people in Congress, to people in the state legislature, to people in the military. But the public, unfortunately, doesn't know a lot of this yet. You and I did an incredible 1-hour interview for a show I do called Focal Point. People can find that on my Rumble channel at libertysentinel.org or at AMP News. But Kristen, tell us real quick, what is InQtel? I mean, talk to me like I'm 5. I've never heard of InQtel before. What is it, and why should we care?
Okay. Yes. InQtel was essentially a CIA venture capital fund that was stood up in 1999. And it was headed up, the chairman of that has been the Arizona State University president since that time. And so he came into Arizona, and pretty much everything has changed. The whole landscape of Arizona has changed because he very, very specifically, I would say, was installed and transformed ASU into something that he actually put into a book called The New American University. And interestingly, when you go to the back cover of the book, you will find a representative of Gates. You will find the Bushes. You will find the Clintons on the back of the book. So the same crew that you normally see running together are very aware of who Michael Crow is. And so it's a venture capital fund, and essentially they fund a lot of the for-profit companies that appear to be independent, but essentially they are civil military fusion. And ultimately, if I were to summarize it quickly, they are building out the biosurveillance state. And so,
yep. And so they've helped stand up big tech, Kristen. They've helped stand up a lot of the big tech companies that we'd all recognize. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time today, and I do encourage people to go watch that extended interview we did. It's been circulating at the highest levels for a couple of weeks now. But Kristen, let's talk about the biodefense and the biosurveillance industry. I know we're not going to be able to get too much out in 5 minutes, but just give us the rundown. What are they funding? Okay. Why are they funding it? And why should we be concerned?
Okay, yes. So I wrote a document, and I will get into this when we have more time and on different shows and so forth. But a document that I wrote and just reread what I wrote before, and I'm surprised I write all this, that I know all this. But this one I titled "Arizona's Ties to the Origin of COVID and the End Goal of COVID-19." And so essentially, when you and I will have to tell you all of this later, we won't have time, but there's a military industrial company called Battelle that essentially was involved with the biodefense industry, and specifically tying this into the medical industry in Arizona. But if the elections are not the only thing we need to be focused on when we're talking about Arizona. And so Michael Crow is connecting with a particular person who's very important to understand. His name is George Post. He is the chief scientist for the ASU's Complex Adaptive Systems Initiative. It's termed CASI, C-A-S-I. He was the former director of ASU's Biodesign Institute, and he is a CIA, InQtel, and U.S. DoD Defense Threat Reduction Agency biodefense consultant. Just last week, I was at the 5G Smart Region Summit, the 5th one. I was at the very inaugural one, and it is right in the complex where George Post has a mailing address. And so all of this is tying in biowarfare, global biosecurity, precision medicine, AI called One Health, and the 5G AI biosurveillance technologies. So when you put all of this together, Arizona is literally supposed to birth all of these technocratic agendas, and very specifically, biodefense is being integrated and led by into the medical system, and it's being directed by biodefense, and very two specific people, George Post and Michael Crow.
And when you say biodefense, we're talking here about all sorts of incredibly bizarre technologies, genetic modification. We're talking about alleged countermeasures against biological attacks, things that are so weird, you almost can't imagine that they're real, except they are. If you had to give us a sneak preview of the future, Kristen, if this madness is not stopped, what is the end goal of these megalomaniacs? And before you answer, folks, I recognize that if you're not familiar with this stuff, a lot of it is going to sound crazy. I guarantee you, I've looked at the documents that Kristen has. She is absolutely telling you the truth. If you go watch that hour-long interview we did, we actually show you the documents that she has. So a lot of these are just public source, open source, public documents. But Kristen, what is the ultimate objective of these maniacs?
In terms of the body, it is physically connecting the body, mutating the body through genetic modification. But when you go to ASU's soft law governance, there's actually, ASU is the Center for Nanotech. So there is a lot of the graphene and things that are integrating the body and would connect to and be impacted by signals, so signals intelligence. So there's also social engineering related to that. But what I would highlight, have people do, because we don't have a lot of time, below the interview that we did is a document, and it's basically a PowerPoint presentation that was condensed down to a PDF, and it's called Optimized. If you look at that, there is so much information in that I call it the adult comic book strip, because it's trying to litigate something over the internet, which you can't do. And so once people start to take the time, scroll through that document in the interview that we did, and you are going to have, people are going to start to have a lot of questions as to why are none of these stories being discussed anywhere in the news. You're not going to see that on Fox News. You're not going to see that anywhere. And so again, we'd like to join, have Carrie Lake start intersecting with some of these agendas and starting to speak to this content. And so I think there's so many intersecting stories. And to your point, we just simply don't have time to unpack all of that probably right now.
Yep. And the intersection also includes a nexus with the voting fraud, right? A lot of these entities, companies, and individuals are intimately connected to the very companies and systems that made possible the massive irregularities we saw in the last election. Kristen, we're down to just about 2 minutes. Folks, again, you need to check out that hour-long interview we did, and we'll be bringing Kristen back as much as she's willing to come on, because this information is so important. I mean, this is the kind of stuff we need to be focused on. Forget the distractions and the shiny objects. This is the stuff that really matters. That interview we did, you can find it at my website, libertysentinel.org, and if you just scroll down a little bit, it's headlined CIA's Transhumanist Tower of Babel. Most important expose ever. Kristen, I also saw that just today you have joined Twitter. How can people follow you on Twitter? And final thoughts in the last 30 seconds that we've got.
Right. I did set up a Twitter account, AZAngel1111. And because, yes, the whole point of this is to expose the Sun Devils. And that's why we called the interview AZ Angels, versus the Sun Devils, because when we shine so much light, this entire network is not going to be able to hide any longer. So it's actually pretty interesting. So I think we can continue to post things on there. And like you said, we'll be putting more interviews out on the American Media Periscope as well. And so the stories, again, I have so many, even from the last time we spoke. So we'll just keep posting that there, and then I think the heat's going to get turned up, and so people are going to have to start responding to some of these stories going way beyond the elections.
Excellent. Kristen Williamson, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all of the incredibly significant work that you are doing, have done, and hopefully will continue to do long into the future. We appreciate you. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks so much.
Absolutely. All righty, folks. That was Kristen Williamson. Go follow her on Twitter. And again, go to my website, libertysentinel.org, and check out that hour-long interview. It was for Focal Point with AMP News. It's going to blow your mind. And we're going to bring her back regularly as much as she's willing to come on, because we got to break down all these different angles. It was just a sneak preview. Thanks again for watching. I'm Alex Newman. This is the Sentinel Report. Till next time, God bless you all.
You're watching Lynn.